How does North Korea tortures prisoners? Torture of prisoners is a widespread and heinous practice that has been used in many parts of the world for centuries. One of the most notorious perpetrators of torture is the government of North Korea. This video will explore the various forms of torture used by North Korean authorities to punish and control prisoners, as well as the psychological and physical effects it can have on victims. By understanding the brutality of North Korean torture practices, we can better understand the human rights crisis that exists within the country. 1. Forced starvation. Forced starvation is one of the most common forms of torture employed by North Korean prison guards. In order to punish or coerce prisoners, they are denied adequate nutrition and deprived of food for extended periods of time. This form of torture is particularly damaging to children and pregnant women who suffer even more drastically due to their reduced capacity to resist the effects of hunger. Victims of forced starvation often experience a wide range of health issues, including significant weight loss, dehydration, fatigue, organ failure, and in extreme cases death. The psychological toll of this form of torture can also be devastating, with prisoners feeling desperate and helpless due to the inability to control their own fate. Forced starvation is just one of many cruel tactics used by the North Korean government against prisoners, demonstrating the depth of the regime's inhumanity. During periods of isolation, prisoners are deprived of food and water, which can lead to malnutrition, dehydration, and even death. Another form of torture that prisoners endure is electric shocks, where electrodes are attached to various parts of the body and electric currents are sent through them, causing excruciating pain. These horrific practices clearly demonstrate that North Korea has no regard for human life or dignity when it comes to dealing with its political opponents and other dissidents. 2. Beatings. Beatings are a common form of torture used by North Korean prison guards against inmates. Prisoners are typically beaten with fists, sticks, rods, or metal bars. In some cases, they may also be beaten with electrified batons. Many victims report that they have been brutally beaten until they lose consciousness. In some instances, the beatings have resulted in broken bones or permanent physical disabilities. Victims of beatings have also reported psychological damage due to the physical and psychological terror inflicted by their captors. Beatings are also used as a form of punishment for failure to obey orders or to perform tasks correctly. Beatings are particularly common in prisons that house political prisoners, who are often subjected to this form of torture simply for being suspected of dissent or criticism against the government. This involves methods such as isolation, humiliation, verbal abuse, and threats. Prisoners may be kept in solitary confinement for weeks at a time without any human contact. Psychological abuse is also common, where prisoners are made to listen to recordings of political speeches and propaganda from the regime. The aim is to indoctrinate them and ensure complete compliance from them.